What is going on, everyone? My name is Andy. Welcome back to another Euro 2020 fantasy video. In this one, it's team selection for match day 2. So I'm going to take you through the chip strategy that I'm using for this week. But I've done drafts for both chips, right? Limitless and Wildcard, just in case you're still undecided. And I'll talk through them both. But obviously, I'll talk mostly about the one that I'm going for, and then looking at some tinkering, some captaincies, who I'm looking at using for each different day of the match day as well. So if you enjoy it, give it a like. Hit that subscribe button if you're new around here as well. Before we get into that, we need to look at how I've done in match day 1. So far, right, the match day is still ongoing. There's still 2 games left, France, Germany, and Portugal, Hungary. But I'm on 77 points, so a really good start. 2,628th overall rank. That'll probably go down a bit tonight. I've got no German players, no French players. And the only Portuguese player I've got is Ronaldo. But this just shows you why you shouldn't make subs until you absolutely have to. So, obviously, Denmark conceded. So, Mæhle only got 2 points. But I didn't sub him off straight away because Torres for Spain, etc., wasn't playing until day 4. So, I had Denea and Vindal as well to play. They got 0. So, although Mæhle is blanked 2 points, it's still better than 0 points. So Torres came in, Ferran Torres and Carrasco only got 3, but they're both better than Depay's 2. So Depay's the one that I'm going to sub off today, and I'm going to bring Ronaldo in for sure. Pretty much everyone returned apart from kind of 3 players. Obviously, Hradecky was a bit lucky in the events that happened and the way he got the clean sheet and the penalty save. Like on another day, he easily blanks, right? Finland just were not good at all, but fair play for them for getting the win. Spinazzola, Insigne, Brady, brilliant. Alaba chipping in with assists. Torres with the clean sheet, like I said. I was on Insigne captain and I switched to Lukaku. I'm going to try and play aggressively. I want at least 2 returns most of the time, 2 attacking returns, but it depends how early in the week I get them or how early in the match day I get them, because if it's like day 3 or 4 and I've only got 1 return, I might consider sticking. So I'm doing all right. Ronaldo to come. We'll have a look at my team in a minute, but let's talk about Ultimate Fan. So speaking of how I did in match day 1, I've had a lot of fun playing Ultimate Fan. It is not too late to sign up. The beauty of this app is not only is it so easy to get going, but there's a new contest every single match day, right? So if you haven't already signed up, just click that link in the description below. You've got to be 18 or over, from the UK or from Ireland. And like I said, you can just get started and get involved for match day 2. As you can see from my team on the screen, I did all right? I got 32 points. The beauty of that is, right, it pays down to 340 places. So although I might not get in that this week, I'm not that far off. It's such a new app. This is the time to get involved. So click that link in the description to give it a go. Belgium did good. I've still got Muller to come at the time of recording. He's got the golden boot as well. That's double points for goals, which is decent. Lena got a goal, which was really nice. In fact, if I click on the points, you can see the leaderboard. You can see my points. So Lena got 15, goal for Austria, brilliant. Belgium obviously did really well for me, 11 points. Unfortunately, Robertson, Lod and McTominay didn't do anything. But I've still got Muller to come. So I've still got a chance to get in the points. Like if you look at the leaderboard, like I said, I'm 620th currently. It's 90 points to get to number 1, right? And you might think you need a great team, but let me show you why that's not the case. So just to show you just the kind of team that can get into the money, right? I've nicked this from someone called Spencer, aka Spencer FC, a little known football YouTuber you may or may not have heard of, right? And you've opened your extra pack. You've signed up for the gold subscription. That gets you some extra packs, some extra guaranteed gold players. It's £4.99 per month, so that's £9.98 for the whole tournament. And by the way, if anyone's already signed up to that, you'll get your next gold pack on the 16th of June. Make sure you log in and get that before 2 o'clock. For anyone that's going to sign up today, after watching this, you'll get your first gold pack today, and then your second one again when everyone else gets theirs on the 16th. But you open the packs, right? You get this team and you're thinking, no chance. Yet you get Schick, golden boot, 2 goals. Skriniar, goal against Poland. England have won with relative ease, thankfully. And you've still got Golovin, Hazard and Di Lorenzo chipping in as well. Doesn't look great, but that's currently at the time of recording the top 10 side. That's the thing, you just pick a team of 6. It's a lot less effort than playing the official game, and guess what? The prizes are a lot better. Over the course of the tournament is £125,000 up for grabs, and it's completely free to play. So make sure you give it a go, help out the channel, have a bit of fun yourself. Link in the description below. If you're 18 and over from the UK and Ireland, go and do it now. So 2 things. 1, I'm pretty sure I'm using the Limitless chip in match day 2. I'll explain why in a minute. And 2, they've got to bring this chip into FPL. It's so fun. Look at the team I have It's absolutely ridiculous. And even then, I've still gone for some cheaper options in Yarmolenko and Zinchenko on the bench, just because Ukraine just look good for North Macedonia, right? It just looks like a good fixture to target. The reason I've gone for it, right, or I'm probably going to go for it, this is the reason I've also done a wildcard draft, because I'll be honest, I'm not locked in. The thing with Euros is, I'm having to think about what my Limitless chip is, that with the deadline, by the time this video goes out, it'll be a deadline in 24 hours. And we haven't even seen all the matches yet. And then I've already got to think about putting together a Limitless chip. So this tournament and this fantasy game is absolutely crazy. But I think I'm on Limitless. What I did is I created a Limitless draft, a wildcard draft for Matchday 2. Then I did exactly the same for Matchday 3. With the Limitless in Matchday 2, it opens you up to potentially not having to use a chip in Matchday 3. I will say right now, that is looking super unlikely, in my opinion, for the team that I set up anyway. Again, I'm specifically talking about my team in this video. I just don't think that team will get through Matchday 3. The fact that Netherlands and England both won their opening games, and Italy, if they all then go and win their second games as well, there will most likely be rotation in Matchday 3. Now, for some teams and some positions, there's actually more expensive players to go for. So, for example, England had Foden and Sterling playing. Let's say they go for Grealish and Sancho. Well, Sancho's actually as expensive as Sterling, I think, right? So he's still quite pricey. You don't get a cheaper option. But let's say Belgium are going to rotate. Well, you get Batshuayi or Benteke up front. If you can get the right one, I'd probably go for Batshuayi right now. That's a massive saving over Lukaku. Calvert-Lewin's a massive saving over Kane. Even if England rotated the goalkeeper, Ramsdale's now in because Henderson's injured. So Johnston would be the number 2. He's 4 million, right? So there's lots of potential cheap options in Matchday 3. Also, if Italy do win their second group game and then they rotate, you're going to get the team sheet for Italy and also for Turkey, Switzerland as well. So Italy against Wales in Matchday 3, you're going to get the team sheet. And if they rotate and there's cheaper options there, maybe Bastoni starts or something in defence, 4.5. There's a lot of cheaper options. Whereas with Matchday 2, you're looking at France really instead of Germany, because they play Hungary and Germany play Hungary in Matchday 3. And the German options are just a bit cheaper. I got to be honest, I don't think there is a right or a wrong. I've made a wildcard draft, which you'll see in a minute, which I don't think is too bad. Because Russia are playing Finland and Ukraine are playing North Macedonia in Matchday 2, there are some cheap, good options as well. And bearing in mind, obviously in this Limitless draft, I've got Mbappe and Benzema. But you only need one of them for captain, right? So if you're looking at captaincies, maybe having 2 French players isn't all that. But still, obviously, I'd rather have a second French striker over a Russian striker, for example, if I'm on Limitless. So I don't think there's a right or wrong. As it stands, this may change. I'm going for Limitless in Matchday 2. Let's talk about the squad. So there's a few things that are non-negotiable for me. So triple France is definitely happening. Right now, I've got Benzema and Mbappe. That could be Mbappe and Griezmann. It could be Griezmann and Benzema. I haven't quite decided. I'll watch the game tonight. I think Griezmann's on penalties though, so there is a chance that I just bring him in alongside Mbappe and just spend all the money that I absolutely want to. And then I've gone for Hernandez in defence, but I need to double check on the attacking rate for him and Pavard, because I think Pavard might be better. Pavard? I don't know. You know who I mean. He might be better for attacking. Or I could go for Lloris instead in goal instead of Pickford, and then maybe go for Alba from Spain, because Spain are going to have to win the next 2 games now. They can't rely on getting a draw and then other results, right? They've got to go out and win this second game and then try and win the last one as well. I mean, they might get through with a win and a draw, but you know what I mean. They got to go and beat Poland, right? So Alba might be a good option as an attacking player in defence instead of Hernandez, and then cover the French backline with Lloris. So that's something I'm thinking about. I've got to go for 2 England players, right? I've said this before. England versus Scotland is going to be more. It's going to be more difficult to play Scotland for England than probably any other team, because of the rivalry that's there. I'm sure at Wembley there'll be a lot of Scottish fans as well. And I do think Scotland were unlucky to lose 2-0 to Czech Republic. They had a lot of their own chances. They hit the bar. Obviously, you don't concede from the halfway line that often. But I still think England are going to have more than enough to win this game. So Kane looks like a great captaincy on the day that he plays. And Sterling, I'm sure, is going to get the nod again. I just seen news this morning that Grealish hasn't even trained with the team. He's doing his own work in the gym, so he might not even be fully fit. The fact that Sterling scored, he is Southgate's man. Southgate trusts him, and I thought he played quite well. So I think he's going to get the nod again, hence him being in. And I think Spinazzola, and Donnarumma just looked great. Italy were brilliant, and I think there's another chance for a clean sheet here. And Insigne would probably be my captain. If I was going to captain someone else from day one, it would probably be a Russian player against Finland. But I'd probably want Zuba, the striker. But the problem is then I've got to get rid of Mbappe, Kane, or Benzema, or Griezmann, whoever it is. And that's quite difficult. The one thing with Limitless Matchday 2, the midfield's kind of difficult because there's no obvious standout. You can kind of go with whoever you want. Now, with De Bruyne and Hazard got minutes in the last game. They need to get these two playing. I think, and I'm going to wait and see what Martinez says. Hopefully we get some insight before the deadline tomorrow, that Hazard will start this game. So I want him in. With De Bruyne, I'm less sure. I'd be more confident probably of De Bruyne getting minutes from the subs bench and then coming on... coming off the subs bench and in match day 3, possibly starting there. So there's another reason for Limitless match day 3. Belgium are going to play Finland, and I think Hazard and De Bruyne will both start. So that's a key differential in match day 3 that people on Wildcard will just not be able to get to. I have thought of having Lukaku up front. The problem I have with that is the French players, there's not too many. I don't want any of the French midfielders, really. I just don't think they're as good as the other options from other teams. But I could have Lukaku instead of Benzema, because I think on the day that Lukaku plays, unless you really, really want to go for a Ukrainian captain, I do think Belgium are possibly the best option. Maybe even Depay, to be honest, for Holland against Austria. So the double French attack is not necessarily locked in. But if I don't go for that, then I will go for double defence instead. And De Bruyne, obviously, I can change to anyone. It could be Olmo or Torres from Spain, possibly. There's loads of different ways you can go with that. Obviously, it's a lot of money to spend. It could be Perisic for Croatia. I know they didn't do too well against England, but a much easier fixture against Czech Republic up next. So there's options I can go with this. And I'm going to do a bit of tinkering in a minute. Just to cover it off then, I've got Pickford just to cover the triple England. I don't necessarily feel like triple England is a must-have, but I'm not against it either. Meunier and Dumfries in defence. I just think that is just two attacking right wing-backs. And with Castagna out, Meunier is definitely going to start, I would assume. Veltman might come in if they rotate for match day 3, possibly. And then Dumfries, again, extremely attacking. And Netherlands are going to go out and try and win this second game. So he's definitely in as well. So I would say locks for this team on Limitless are Kane, Mbappe, and then 2 other French players, probably a striker. I think Sterling's pretty locked. I think I'll probably go for Hazard unless he's ruled out. Yarmolenko and Zinchenko just because of the fixtures. So that's at least 8. Dumfries makes it 9. Spinazzola, I just can't go with that. And Meunier either. So a lot of these players are locked in, but there's just a few different combinations that I could go for. So let's talk about that. Okay, so we'll try and go through this nice and quick, then we'll talk about the wildcard team. So obviously I've just put the players in. I've not activated the chip yet, just on the crazy off chance that France play tonight, right, at the time of recording, and then like Mbappe, Griezmann, Benzema, and then half the defence get injured or something ridiculous like that, which is just not going to happen. But because I'm so engaged with this, I know I'm not going to miss the deadline or anything like that. I haven't activated the Limitless chip yet. I'm still thinking about wildcard. But I'll probably go Limitless. I just haven't activated the chip. I will not forget. Mark my words, right? I will not forget. So this is the team. First of all, I know it's quite small. I'll make it bigger in a sec, but you've just seen it anyway, so it doesn't really matter. This is match day 2. So first of all, captains are super important. So this day, I don't think, like if you're on a wild card or you're just making transfers, I don't think that, can I make it a bit bigger? There we go. That's as big as I can make it. I don't think Russia versus Finland is that bad. So Zuba or someone like that is decent. Maybe even someone from Turkey, like Yilmaz. I wouldn't write Turkey off just because they didn't do well against Italy, right? Not many teams are going to do well against Italy. I'll probably go Insigne, though, because I'm on Limitless, right? This day is tricky. Again, if you're on wildcard, you probably are fine with going for a Ukrainian captain against North Macedonia. I think it'll be a good fixture. Malianovsky, Yarmolenko, Yaremchuk, etc. could all be options. Maybe a defender too, like Zinchenko. But on Limitless, I do think there's a potential argument to go for Lukaku against Denmark or go for Netherlands against Austria. So someone like Depay. And I think, I don't know, I just don't know how differential that is. Like with the Limitless chip, I want to do something a bit different. So that's why I've got Hazard in. Hazard might be my captain this day. I don't think many people are going to go for him. So this day's a little bit tricky. This day, I feel like Kane is the standout if you're on Limitless. There's no reason not to go for him. Again, if you're on Wildcard, right, and this is why I don't think there's a right or wrong for Matchday 2 versus Matchday 3 Wildcard, there is no reason why you couldn't go for Isaac. I thought he looked quite good against Spain. He's playing Slovakia. Or someone like Rebic or Perisic against Czech Republic could be a good option as well. So don't write them off at all. Okay, so there are good options for that day, but on Limitless, I think it has to be Harry Kane, right? Hopefully he's fine. There's talk about, obviously, the injury did kind of go down a bit, trying to score in the second half, but he's been training, so he should be fine. And on the last day, it's definitely France. So that's why I'm not too concerned about this day, because I feel like if I don't get something from Insigne, Kane, or Mbappe, or Griezmann, or Benzema, whoever it is, then it's probably been a bad week anyway. So this day, I think, is a chance to go something a bit different, the Belgium day. And I'm looking at someone like Hazard, because if he pops off, right, if he maybe takes penalties back off Lukaku, I don't know, that's a big differential, and I can just stick and not have to worry about the rest. So that's what I'm thinking on captaincy, okay? So maybe Hazard. If I don't go for De Bruyne, obviously straight away I can just go for whatever player I want. I don't think there are too many standouts. Like Wijnaldum just doesn't seem exciting enough on a Limitless chip. I could go for a second England midfielder. It'd probably have to be Foden. I'm not so sure about that. It could be an option though. So Perisic is an option here. I wouldn't go Forsberg, I don't think, for Sweden. The other option is to go for a Spanish player like Torres. I thought Olmo, to be honest, looked better though. He had more shots. They weren't necessarily great quality shots, but he did have more shots. Or go for a French midfielder like Pogba or Coman, but I don't know about that. That again, though, that would be a little bit differential. So, for example, right, we go back up here, we put Coman in. It's not going to let me, is it? Because I've got too many French players. Let's say I'm going to get rid of Benzema in this case. So we'll put Coman in, and then up front, we can just go for that Lukaku move I said, right, or go for Depay. And just do something like that instead. It just depends on this midfield spot. I need to look at some of the odds and stuff, because I think Croatia could be decent against the Czech Republic. Again, Czech Republic did really well against Scotland, but I expect Croatia to step up their game. They need to win this game as well. You can't drop points for 2 games in a row. So then that would be the team. For the rest of it, I don't see a huge amount that I can do massively differently. Like Hernandez out and Pickford out for Lloris. So let me just put him in. And Alba, that's definitely an option as well, right? So to go for one of the Spanish, because the thing with Spain is we saw how they played against Sweden. Look, it wasn't that interesting to watch, to be honest. I don't think it was any more interesting than watching England, to be honest, the way they keep the ball. But they have so much possession. It's like Man City. It's very hard to score against them, although Sweden nearly did it twice. But Alba could be an option because he's very attacking. He did also captain them. I don't know if he's usually the captain. Maybe he is. But something like that. But that gives so many attacking, basically almost like right wing backs. Like Spinazzola and Alba are not playing or lining up as wing backs, but they're basically that far forward. Meunier and Dumfries are wing backs. And then you've got Zinchenko who's playing in midfield. So I really like the defence. It's the midfield which I think you can do something a little bit different with. So for me, it was De Bruyne and Benzema, but Lukaku and Coman could be a slightly different option. If I don't go for them, I do think it'll be someone like Perisic or Wijnaldum. I don't think there's too many other options. I don't want to panic about it too much. So that's my Limitless team. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Let's take a quick look at a wildcard team. So I've already told you I'm probably going to go Limitless. I've already talked through the team. I've already talked through the changes. What I don't want to see is I've played the wildcard. Well, you told us you were going Limitless. 1, it doesn't matter what I do. You can make your own decisions, of course. But 2, I am still a little bit undecided. I'm probably going Limitless, as I've said a million times in this video. But here is a wildcard kind of draft that I did have a quick think about. I did this for Matchday 2 and 3, like I said earlier, and I just made the downgrades and then saw if I was still happy. I got to be honest, I don't think this team looks bad at all, right? So the first thing that it has different to a Limitless chip play or a Limitless team is only one French attacker. Now you could get some money, like you could go Wijnaldum to a 7 million mid and go for Griezmann to Mbappe, right? It's possible to do that, but it's not as bad as it first looks, because like I said to you earlier, you can only captain one of those French players. So in this team, for example, you could go Insigne for day one, sorry, and then in day 2 you've got either Meunier against Denmark, or you've got Wijnaldum against Austria, or you can go for one of the Ukrainian players. So in this one, I've got Malianovsky and Yaremchuk and Michaelenko on the bench. Obviously, he would play in the team, but he's a defender. I wouldn't go for him. It would be Yaremchuk or Malianovsky. And then on the next day, on day 3, you've still got Harry Kane in the team. And then on day 4, you've still got Griezmann. So look, if you're thinking, I can't play my wildcard because everyone's doing their Limitless chip, you absolutely can. You still get a captain every day. You've still, in this one, I've still covered the French defence with Lloris. I've still got Spinazzola and Insigne who look good. Instead of Alba, who I was talking about in my last draft, I've got Torres instead. Yes, okay, he's not as attacking, but you still cover the Spanish defence. Meunier's still in here as well. Yazicki is your 5.5. I tend to find when you're not using Limitless shits, you kind of have to have one of those 5.5 million players. And he plays Wales. So I know he came off after 45 minutes, but that was against Italy. My hope would be that he will start again and do a bit better against Wales. So not a bad first option there. There are changes you could make. Again, Insigne could be brought down to a 7 million midfielder, and Yaremchuk could go up to Zuba, and that could be your captain on day 1. And I've obviously got Hradetsky there as well, so you'd play him, but I wanted to show you where the money has gone. So there's loads of different things you can do with this. Olmo, I thought, was good for Spain, like I said earlier. Like he was, I wouldn't say he was like out of this world good, but he was good enough where it makes me think I don't necessarily need to spend the extra money on Torres. Again, they could play the next game and Torres could massively outscore him, but that's just the way it goes. And then I've got Mings in there for 4.5 million against Scotland because I don't think Harry Maguire is going to be back for this game. If he is, then obviously Mings is a bit of a risk, but he didn't do anything wrong. There's no reason for Southgate to force Maguire in, I don't think, at this point. You give him some minutes at some point. Maybe you hope that you win the second game against Scotland, and then you give Maguire, maybe even Henderson, a start in match day 3, where I think there could be a lot of rotation. But that is the wildcard draft I came up with. I haven't got a draft for it yet. I've not put one together because I didn't want this video to be like so long that no one watches it. But in match day 3... like I said, you're going to get the Italy team. Hopefully they will win their second game. You're going to get some cheap options. The only thing I would say is match day 3 is difficult whether you're Limitless or Wildcard, because if you think there's going to be rotation, I don't really see how Limitless helps you, because players like then Lukaku and Kane, etc., you can't necessarily go for them because they might be rotated, right? And therefore they're cheaper options. Batshuayi, Benteke, Calvert-Lewin, they're all much cheaper. But obviously you're then taking a risk. But that risk is going to be there whether you wildcard or Limitless. The only thing is, with Spain dropping points in the first game, they play Slovakia in match day 3, and they will probably have to play pretty much full strength. But will Enrique change the team around? He could. He could bring in Moreno for Morata. He could bring in whoever on the wings instead of Torres and Olmo. There's lots of options there. And obviously, Germany versus Hungary, you're probably going to want 3 players from that game anyway. So if you're also going for Spanish players, you've got a lot of players on the last day. So it's lots of things to consider. I still think day 3 on... match day 3 is the same as day 3 on match day 2. That is it's England and Croatia, Scotland, Czech Republic who are playing. So you still got to get a captain in there, but you can still get Kane on the wildcard side. So if I wildcard, it'll be something like this. But like I've said, for the 100,000th time, I'm probably going to go Limitless. So there we go. That is it for this one. Thank you very much for watching. If you've enjoyed it, please do give it a like and hit that subscribe button. Don't forget, if you haven't already, right, if you're 18 and over from the UK or from Ireland, make sure to download Ultimate Fan. There's a link in the description below. Not only is it free to play, there's prizes up for grabs. You don't have to go for the silver or the gold pack subscription if you don't want to. You can just build a team and hope you get enough points. If you don't, so what? You didn't have to pay anything to enter. Like I said, link in the description below. It helps out the channel as well. No reason really not to do it. Other than that, let me know what you think about my team's Wildcard Limitless. Let me know in the comments below what you are doing. I will be back tomorrow with an FPL Fixtures video, by the way, and also a deadline stream as well for match day 2, and obviously I'll get my team locked in for that. So I'm going to leave it there. Hit that like button, hit subscribe. Good luck with your tinkering, and I'll see you soon.